What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my in-depth analysis and builds guide for Winter Bruno. I'll also be having a special segment at the very end. So Winter Bruno is the first free-to-play mage armor that we have got, and he's got 185 BST. He's one of the faster armors pretty much at base 38 speed, but he's not the fastest I suppose because the speed creep has definitely gotten pretty insane. So while 38 base speed is definitely pretty nice, it's not really all that high compared to what we have nowadays. And he also has pretty good base 41 attack, which also has a super boon in it. Now because of allocating a lot of the stats of his into speed, he's naturally not going to be having very high bulk. So he does have base 29 defense and base 34 resistance. And he does have Peppy Cane plus as the inhittable weapon. And this weapon does have pretty easy condition to meet, and you can just have the -5 attack and resistance debuff on the foot during the combat, and you can also get the follow-up negation effect in the combat in both phases. So it's pretty much like a better impact lance because it does have the impact effect in the player phase and also gives you that follow-up negation in the enemy phase. And he does have Fury 3 as a slot A skill, which is kind of weird with a weapon that has got an HP threshold, but I suppose this is to get you to the damage art a lot faster, and he also comes with threat and attack resistance too. And like I said, he is the first free-to-play mage armor that we have got, so there's not too much competition in the free-to-play pool, but he can be compared to the other green mage armors that we have got. So he can definitely be compared to Halloween Henry that we did get 5 years ago, and Halloween Henry is going to be having pretty similar speed stat to Winter Bruno that we have got, but he's definitely not going to be having as much attack. Bruno does have higher HP and their defense is pretty much the same, though having the higher visible resistance is going to be helping you against a lot of the AoE specials of many of the AoE mages like Duo Thor for example. Now you can see that Valentine Alphonse is just going to be a bulkier mage armor because he's got 44 defense and he also has pretty similar resistance, so he can function a lot better as a tank. And I would have really preferred if Bruno kind of followed the blueprint of Valentine Alphonse, because when you're going to be having more speed, you're pretty much going to be trading your bulk, and as an armor unit you're mostly going to be run as a safe tank, so tanking is definitely a pretty essential part. Valentine Alphonse also has similar attack to Bruno, but of course Bruno is going to be a lot faster to make use of something like Savvy Fighter pretty much, and if he ends up getting a good arcane green tome that can give him extra speed, then he's definitely going to be getting a lot out of it. So Winter Bruno being a range armor unit is definitely going to be having a lot less options compared to the regular far safe tanks, which can run Hardy Fighter and Aegis. So that is definitely going to be one of the shortcomings, but you also don't really need to run distant counter to retaliate back to the range unit. So he's a decent unit if you're a big fan of him, but if you've already invested into a lot of the far safe tanks, then he's not really going to be impressing you that much, and he does have his shortcomings as I said before. And his fodder is not really all that good, but he could be used for Peppy Cane plus, which is helpful on like a slower green mage pretty much to get that follow-up negation effect. So you can essentially have an Omni Breaker effect if you run something like Crafty Fighter or Quick Riposte, but whenever we get the green arcane tome, they're probably going to be preferring to have that over this kind of weapon, but still it could be useful on these kinds of units. So overall, Winter Bruno is the kind of unit you invest into if you really like him as a character, and he's definitely a fan favorite. So a lot of people are definitely pretty happy that he's available. So if you like him a lot, then you can definitely build him up, and the speed that he has got can enable the usage of Savvy Fighter with Far Save, and Savvy Fighter does give you the damage reduction as well as the full null follow-up. So being able to use his speed productively is definitely going to be a big part of how you build him up, especially at higher investment. Because of being a Gen 7 mage armor, he does have 185 BST, so he could be used in arena for scoring, but because he's an armor unit, he's definitely going to be pretty painful to be used in arena with that one movement. And I definitely have experience with that because I've built up a Plus and Winter Felix many years ago, so I've actually used him so much in arena. So while the far save could be useful, the one movement is definitely going to be pretty annoying. And because range armors cannot really have access to Hardy Fighter and Aegis, they inherently have like less options, and you pretty much need to be someone insane like Winter Marth with that speed preempt and enemy phase dive bomb as a range armor unit to really stand out. So a lot of the top tier far safe armor units are going to be giving him competition for that role, and because he does not really have too many options, and because he's also fast but not fast enough, he's going to be having overall lower bulk. So a lot of the brave attacks are going to be pretty annoying for him, even if you get Savvy Fighter and get the damage reduction on foe's first attack. and pretty much he's going to be waiting for the Arcane Green Tome, and whenever that comes out, that is eventually going to be deciding his strength and power. So I hope that it comes out before he's available in the Grail shop. So that is going to be the best case scenario, because then you can see what the Green Arcane Tome is, and then you can give him the fodder accordingly instead of, just giving him the skills right now, which might overlap with the Arcane Green Tome, having those skills built into the weapon itself. I don't think competitively he's going to be standing out that much, because he's a green armor, and having the range matchups be really insane is going to be pretty tough. And Duochrome is going to be killing him faster than he can rip out his shirts, so that is always going to be pretty annoying. And Duochrome is going to be everywhere in any kind of competitive game mode. And I have used Winter Felix a lot, and even though he does have the blue color, he still, is kind of annoyed by Winterchrome and his effective damage. And that is even more true for Bruno, who does have a lower defense stat and also has the weapon strangle disadvantage. So you definitely have to watch out for a couple of range matchups, and I would suggest to use him with, some kind of support that can give him a lot more bulk and pretty much allow him to be a bit more tanky. And investing into his speed is pretty much going to be the way if you're going to be investing into him. So if you want to build him up on a budget, you can definitely try and replace Fury with Speed Defense form that is available on a 4-star Russia. So that is going to be much better than Fury, which does have the chip damage, which doesn't have the good synergy with his HP threshold of the weapon. So you can just try and stack up speed on him even on a budget with Speed Defense form, with Speed Resistance Link, and also a form Sacred Seal. And because you're going to be running him on a budget, you don't exactly have access to a save skill, so you can just run Ward Armor or any kind of other slotsy skill, and this kind of build could definitely be used for Tempest Trial as well if you're going to be using him as a bonus unit. But if you're going to be investing a bit more into him, then he can definitely be given a lot of the fodder that is available in the Divine Codes. So you're going to be able to have access to Henriette Manual, which can give you the Far Save skill and Distant Defense 4. So that could be run on him, and you can also get Crafty Fighter in the Divine Codes itself, and that is going to be giving you the guard effect, which is definitely a pretty nice defensive effect, especially with a weapon like Peppy Cane, which does have the follow-up negation built into it. And because Bruno is going to be a faster unit, he's going to be able to deny the auto follow-up attacks of many of these slower units. So that is definitely going to be useful. And when we have auto follow-up with Crafty Fighter, you can just invest into his defense more with the defense refine and by running attack defense form. So he's already going to be getting the auto follow-up from it. So just stacking up a bit of defense is definitely going to be helping when it comes to the tanking. But if you want to double down on his speed, then you'll definitely need some expensive fodder in form of Winter Black Knight. So Special Fighter 4 is definitely one of the better skills that you can give to him in the slot B, because this is going to be providing him with the guard effect and also the special acceleration. So you can retaliate back with glimmers, and that is going to be doing a lot of damage and also healing you up with the new tier 4 effect that the Special Fighter has got. And you can also get the DR Far Save from Winter Black Knight if you give him the version 3 of Special Fighter before. And you can also get attack speed bond 4 from the Divine Codes from Shadows of Valentia Catria. And that is definitely going to be having good synergy with the save skill, and the bond skill is always going to be active whenever the save is going to get activated. So he can essentially get that speed and attack debuff neutralization with the skill, and also stack up a lot more speed with that and also his slot A skill. And Glimmer could be used as a 2 cooldown special, but Moonbow can also work out, and Peppy Cane is still going to be a nice weapon to just give you that follow-up negation. We don't exactly have a very good speed giving tome when it comes to the green mages, but we can definitely try some other options like Amity Blooms Plus from Valentine Alphonse, which is going to be giving you healing. And if you are not going to be running Special Fighter 4 for its healing, then the healing from Amity Blooms is definitely going to be useful. So Savvy Fighter could be used, but unfortunately it is going to be pretty expensive to get from Valentine Lucina. And you can also run Kestrel Stance on him so that he can have the guard effect. So he could be run with Savvy Fighter as well and make productive use out of his speed by getting the null follow-up and also by getting the 40% damage reduction on foe's first attack. So Savvy Fighter is pretty much going to be his best lobby skill that he can run if you're going to be running a speed stacking build. Special Fighter 4 is also pretty good, but Savvy Fighter does give him the null follow-up, which is going to be improving a lot of his matchups, and the damage reduction, which he definitely needs to, just tank better as a fast armor unit who doesn't necessarily have the highest bulk. And if you are going to be investing all the way into him, then a very expensive Snow Globe Plus from Winter Arthur is going to be pretty helpful to get the attack resistance unity and stack it up with attack speed unity. So this is going to be giving you essentially unity to 3 of your stats, and then you can also use Savvy Fighter for that damage reduction and simply speed stack on him. So if you're going to be trying to speed stack, then Savvy Fighter is definitely going to be pretty useful, but it is going to be an expensive skill, and these are pretty much the best builds that you can run on him that can make use out of his speed. And then finally, if you're going to be using him in Arena as a 185 BST scoring unit, then you can definitely run him with Special Fighter and Distant Defense 4. The reason being is that a lot of units are going to be having rallies there, so you're going to be able to ignore any kind of attack buff that they've got. And the Special Fighter is going to be helping you retaliate back with Ruptured Sky and essentially heal up HP in that process, and also hopefully one-shot the opponents with that plus attack IV and that super boon. And you can also stack up the resistance on him so that he can at least take care of the mages for your arena team, and that is definitely going to be pretty helpful, but you definitely have to watch out for a lot of the physical threats and especially Duochrome. I really wish they made Winter Bruno a lot better, and a quick and easy way to make him better is to just give him more bulk. We have already gotten a lot of fast free-to-play range armors like Winter Ignatz, Winter Felix, and Winter Jafar in like previous years. So I think having a more bulky range armor would have been really nice as a free-to-play unit. And Bruno is absolutely ripped, so I think it fits his character to have that kind of bulk. So I would definitely give him Vengeful Fighter as a slot B skill that he's going to be able to bring to the free-to-play pool. And Vengeful Fighter is like 5 years old at this point, so I don't think anyone would really try to, argue that it doesn't deserve to be in the free-to-play pool, because it is really outclassed when it comes to a slot B fighter skill. There are just much better skills available. And I don't really like that Resistance Smoke is still only available on Brunya in the Grail pool, so I would definitely give him Resistance Smoke as well at 4-star. So these are the changes I would have made to Bruno if I had to improve him a bit, because having that speed is definitely not as good when you're not going to be in the absolute top tier when it comes to the speeds, and base 38 speed is definitely not right there. So I would have definitely preferred if he had more bulk, honestly, than speed at this point. So let me know what you think about this theory craft that I've done. If you would have preferred having a bulky Bruno or you like the speedy Bruno, I would definitely like to know that in the comments. And make sure to share this video with your friends if they're excited to build up this Winter Bruno. And if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps it tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using Super Thanks or by becoming a YouTube member down below. And for more FE videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Bruno's shirts. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.